I've been playing war games since Command & Conquer, Age of Empires 2, and more recently, Tom Clancy's End War. Now, what do all of those have in common? They're beginner-friendly, easy to pick up, and have beautiful graphics. However, I was looking for something more intense, more immersive, and more methodical, where it's more about positioning, understanding the weapon systems, and utilizing your tactical knowledge to overcome the enemies. While I still enjoy those types of real-time strategy games, I feel like Flashpoint Campaign's Southern Storm really scratches that methodical, immersive, and tactical wargaming itch. Now, we're going to cover 2 of the 4 roles that you need to master in order to be successful on the battlefield, and those are main effort and line support. The main effort primarily consists of tanks, and its main objective is to take, hold, and secure ground. However, these units do not act alone, and they are supported by line and support units. Tanks will primarily be used to drive out defending forces, crush an assault, or mount your own offensive. Next, we need to remember that these units cannot and will not act alone, and they require a lot of support. We will not be grinding our main effort into the dirt and sustaining massive casualties. Tanks are a key asset at holding ground and securing objectives, as well as conducting offensives. While all of that sounds briefly overwhelming, mastering the weapon systems is something that I truly enjoy in these types of games. And as you can see, the average range for a tank cannon is around 2,000 meters. So that's going to play into your offensives and your defenses. The main effort can often be used to screen enemy offensives by taking on mechanized units or eliminating their infantry as they cross roadways or attempt to secure villages. Players will often be using tanks to punch holes or break defensive lines under artillery support, as well as infantry and mechanized unit support. Now that you have a firm understanding of how to utilize the main effort, we're going to move on to line support. And this role consists of mechanized and infantry units. The mechanized units are high-speed, lightly armored vehicles that can fill several combat roles. They cannot stand toe-to-toe with tanks on open ground. However, that isn't the role that they are meant to fill. These vehicles have several different types of armaments that have different ranges and range from anti-tank to anti-infantry functionality. They can also transport infantry and other support units that both support the main effort as well as the line forces. The main objective of the mechanized units is to move fast along the battlefield, flank enemy armor, and neutralize any forces that they come across. Mechanized units are definitely hard to master, and it's definitely one that I've struggled with. They primarily support the main effort, but they have several types of armaments that can counter the enemy forces' tanks and other armored vehicles. Mechanized units are oftentimes amphibious and can conduct amphibious operations by crossing small, minor rivers or other types of lakes if they have the time. There are a lot of considerations when utilizing this weapon system. Ideally, you do not want to use them under the hold order because that means they will stay in place and succumb to any enemy fire. You want them to screen the enemy offensive and possibly retrograde if they come under heavy enemy fire. Infantry can often feel like a glass cannon when used improperly. This is because players often use their heavy weapon systems in vulnerable positions. This isn't because infantry are weak or overpowered. They are just armed with high-powered weapon systems that can be challenging for players to use. While their weapon systems often have a much shorter range, they are just as deadly, if not more deadly, than some of the weapon systems you'll use in your mechanized and tank units. If you're a wargamer like myself, oftentimes you find yourself using infantry as meat and sending them to the grinder. They are far too powerful in this game and most games to be used in that manner. They can turn the tide of battle, or they can penetrate the enemy forces, allowing you to conduct a flank with either your main effort or mechanized units. With that brief summary over, it's time to ask ourselves some questions. And those questions are, how do we mitigate risk and navigate the battlefield safely and effectively? And the answer is REAS or recon units. These units are your eyes and ears on the battlefield, the asset that will keep your forces from falling into ambushes or other unfortunate situations. While this video isn't going to go in depth into how to utilize the recon units properly or effectively, it's just something you need to consider when managing your Overwatch, your line support, or your main effort. All of this information can be a bit overwhelming, especially for new and even for seasoned wargamers. it's important to just take some time, learn the role or at least the weapon system you want to have a firm understanding of, and play around with it. Go into the subunit inspector, look at the effective ranges, the standoff ranges, and just immerse yourself not so much in the information, but just in the role itself. Have fun learning, understanding the standoff ranges, and how to utilize the weapon systems. That's the point of this game, or any war game at the end of the day, is to immerse yourself in the Cold War, in World War II, and learn something, take something away, or learn a new tactical skill that may help you in life or just when playing board games with your friends. At the end of the day, the game's for you, and how you play it is up to you. These videos are just meant to give you a firm understanding on how to utilize the resources and information within the manual or in the game. Now, with all of that being said, there are different factions and different nations within Flashpoint Campaign Southern Storm. They have different orders of battle, so while the main effort may be a broad concept, each nation is going to apply it differently in this game. Now, if you made it this far, and you enjoy military strategy, tactics, and doctrine, and like seeing it applied to strategy games, I guarantee you're in the right place. So make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Head on over to the community tabs for our monthly newsletter, as well as other defense and military information updates. And then check out the Patreon for free after action reports. And overall, have a good day. Peace.